Chosen one, God sent me to tell you this warning. Take it seriously. Something is shifting around you right now, something subtle but unmistakable. You can feel it in the atmosphere, the sudden tension in conversations, the unusual heaviness in your spirit, the unexplainable restlessness when you try to rest. These are not coincidences. These are signals. The divine is trying to get your attention before the next chapter begins. You are being warned not because you are in danger, but because you are valuable. Heaven always warns before it moves. This message reaches you for a reason. It is not random that you found this moment, these words, this frequency. You were led here because something inside you has been sensing that change is near, and this is confirmation. The warning is not about fear. It is about preparation. The universe does not shout. It whispers. Those who are awake will understand. Before we go deeper, stay until the very end of this message. Every sentence carries energy meant to awaken your awareness and strengthen your focus. As you listen, write your warmest wishes in the comments and type 1. 44. The vibration of unity, manifestation, and divine order. Together, we create resonance. Together, we send intention into the universe. This is how energy gathers. This is how miracles begin to form. Chosen one, show your light by liking this video and subscribed to the channel. And let's step into this together. Now listen closely. The first warning is about distraction. The moment a new phase of purpose begins, distractions multiply. They come disguised as opportunities, as friendships, as comfort. They arrive gently, offering ease and pleasure, but they cost you focus. The divine is saying, guard your attention. Your attention is your altar. Whatever you worship with focus becomes your reality. In this season, you cannot afford to give your energy to what drains you. Be alert to what feels good, but steals time from your mission. Not every open door is divine. Some are detours built to delay. You have felt a strange resistance lately, haven't you? Plans that should be simple turn complicated. People you trusted suddenly become distant. Situations shift without reason. These are not punishments. They are clues. The energy around you is being rearranged because the divine is pulling you out of circles that can't hold your next level. The warning is simple. Do not chase what is leaving. If something feels like it's falling apart, let it. Release with reverence. The universe is editing your environment for alignment. There is also a warning about your voice. Be careful what you share. Not everyone deserves access to your revelations. Some people listen with the intent to dilute, not to understand. When God gives you vision, protect it until it manifests. Speak less, move more. Silence has power. The chosen are often misunderstood because they reveal too soon what others are not yet ready to see. Timing is protection. Keep sacred what was whispered in prayer. Let results speak where explanations once lived. The energy of testing is still near. You may feel pulled between two versions of yourself. The old self that wants comfort, and the new self that demands growth. The divine warning is this: do not negotiate with your past. You cannot carry both pain and purpose through the same gate. Something must be released for something greater to arrive. You know what that is. You've been feeling it tugging at you for months. That habit, that attachment, that doubt. This is your sign to let go completely. Obedience now creates freedom later. This season will expose hidden motives in others and in yourself. The divine is illuminating everything that was pretending to be harmless, but was slowly dimming your light. You may start to see people differently, situations differently, even your own desires differently. Don't resist the clarity, embrace it. The truth may sting, but deception suffocates. When your spiritual sight sharpens, it's not to condemn, but to correct. The purpose of vision is purification. You are being called to upgrade your environment. Notice what conversations leave you heavy. Notice what content steals your peace. Notice the patterns that lower your vibration. The divine is warning. Protect your frequency. Energy is currency in the unseen realm. Waste it on confusion, and clarity will starve. Invest it in silence, and revelation will multiply. Not everyone who calls your name should have your attention. Some voices are echoes from expired seasons. Choose what you tune into as carefully as you choose what you eat. There will be subtle tests of patience. The next phase requires calm precision, not reaction. Impulses will whisper, "Act now." Wisdom will say, "Wait." The warning is to pause before deciding. The universe is rearranging possibilities behind the scenes. Premature movement could close doors that divine timing was about to open. Stillness is not stagnation. It's strategy. Wait until peace becomes the loudest voice, then move. You may feel lonely for a while. Isolation is a symptom of elevation. When the divine separates you, it is not exile. It is encryption. You are being coded with new instruction that others are not yet ready to hear. That's why certain friendships feel distant, why conversations don't connect. It's temporary. You are being tuned to a higher frequency. Once calibration is complete, the right people will appear, and the connection will feel effortless. The warning: don't rush to fill silence with company. Let solitude complete its work. Guard your mind from fear. When you begin to awaken to purpose, darkness sends confusion to blur focus. Doubt will echo like a familiar voice, whispering that you are unqualified, unprepared, unseen. Recognize it for what it is: a distraction from destiny. Fear is persuasive but powerless when met with awareness. Each time doubt rises, answer it with gratitude. Gratitude interrupts anxiety because it brings you back to presence. The warning is not to avoid fear but to disarm it by refusing to feed it. Another warning: be careful what you call failure. Some endings are disguised beginnings. Some losses are divine extractions. When something collapses, ask not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What is this freeing me from?" The divine never subtracts without intention. When something exits, it makes space for expansion. Trust that removal is refinement. The quicker you release, the sooner peace returns. Chosen one, you are being positioned for responsibility that demands discernment. The influence you are about to carry will affect more lives than you realize. That's why this warning comes first. If ego enters before humility, the channel blocks. If pride rises before purpose matures, impact shrinks. The divine is reminding you, your power is sacred, but it must stay clean. Purity of intent is your shield. Let gratitude be your grounding, and humility be your home. As the energy intensifies, you may feel physical symptoms: fatigue, restlessness, vivid dreams. These are signs of spiritual download. Your body is adjusting to hold more light. Rest when you need to. The process requires integration. Drink water. breathe deeply, spend time in silence. The more still you become, the clearer the message grows. Spiritual strength is built through awareness, not activity. There will also be moments where silence feels unbearable, as if heaven itself has gone quiet. Do not mistake stillness for absence. In the silence, instructions are being written within you. The divine speaks most clearly when distractions fall away. If you can endure that emptiness without rushing to fill it, you will hear something extraordinary. The next phase of your calling whispered straight into your intuition. You are being warned about compromise. The world will offer shortcuts that promise reward without sacrifice. Resist them. The quick path collapses fast. The slow path builds legacy. You are not called to momentary attention. You are called to eternal impact. Every choice you make now echoes forward. Choose integrity, even when no one watches. Hidden obedience builds visible favor. At times you will wonder why the divine tests your patience through others, people misunderstanding, misrepresenting, or mishandling your kindness. These are rehearsals for leadership. How you respond in private determines what you can steward in public. The warning is to stay gracious even when provoked. Your silence in the face of misunderstanding will speak louder than any defense. The chosen don't prove. They persevere. The universe is refining your relationship with time. You must stop rushing the process. Divine timing doesn't delay. It designs. Every apparent pause is preparation for precision. Trust the rhythm. Trust that you are not late, not forgotten, not behind. You are right on time for your transformation. The impatience you feel is simply your future calling you forward. Respond not with frustration, but with faith. Finally, the deepest warning: never let success make you forget the silence that started it. The moment gratitude fades, grace begins to thin. Stay close to the source. Keep humility at the center of everything. The more visible your purpose becomes, the more invisible your ego must remain. Influence without humility collapses under its own weight. Remember that the mission isn't yours, it's moving through you. Stay teachable. Keep returning to silence after every victory. Let gratitude absorb the applause before pride can. Gratitude is your safeguard. It keeps the channel clear. And when gratitude becomes your reflex, grace becomes your rhythm, and nothing can interrupt the flow. When a divine warning enters your life, it does not always sound like thunder. It often comes softly, through intuition, through a small unease in your chest, through silence that suddenly feels meaningful. You start to notice the timing of things, the way random events seem orchestrated, the way your spirit tugs at you when something isn't right. This is not anxiety, it's awakening. The divine is teaching you to recognize its language, not through logic, but through resonance. At first, it may feel unsettling. You might wonder, why do I feel so alert lately? Why do I sense so much before it happens? This is what spiritual sensitivity feels like when it expands. Your soul is adjusting to new bandwidth. The divine is upgrading your awareness so you can navigate what's coming. You are not meant to fear this feeling. You are meant to flow with it. What feels like overthinking is often foresight. Pay attention to patterns, to repetition, to signs, to numbers that follow you, to dreams that feel louder than usual. The warning has become activation. When this happens, energy around you intensifies. People start revealing their true intentions without realizing it. Some who once smiled may grow distant. Others you never expected may appear with grace. Don't rush to label anyone, just observe. Truth exposes itself when the chosen become conscious. Light has a way of making shadows speak. The divine is allowing this exposure so you can separate what serves your spirit from what drains it. The warning is not about suspicion, it's about discernment. Your heart may ache as old connections fade. But listen, not every loss is punishment. Some departures are protection. Heaven removes who cannot handle your next level. It hurts because you still remember the good, but trust that the divine remembers the truth. You will see one day that these endings were rescue missions in disguise. Let people exit gracefully. Don't close your heart. Close the chapter. When the energy no longer aligns, peace becomes permission to let go. You'll start to notice how your environment mirrors your spiritual condition. Spaces that once felt safe may suddenly feel heavy. Conversations that once entertained you now leave you empty. You've outgrown frequencies that used to fit comfortably. That's not arrogance, it's ascension. Your vibration is rising, and everything that cannot breathe at that altitude begins to fall away. Don't chase density. Stay light. The divine is separating the wheat from the weeds, not in people alone, but in habits, thoughts, and emotions. Sometimes the warning arrives through delay. You'll prepare for something and it won't happen as planned. Doors that looked promising will suddenly close. Don't panic. That's divine interception. The universe intervenes when your enthusiasm outruns discernment. What feels like disappointment is divine redirection. You are being saved from something that would have drained your energy or diverted your path. Every delay hides a deliverance. Remember this, rejection is often divine rerouting. As your sensitivity sharpens, you will begin to sense danger before it arrives, not through fear, but through vibration. You'll enter a space and your spirit will whisper, "Not here." You'll meet someone and feel that subtle tightening in your chest, not them. These are spiritual alarms, not paranoia. The warning is clear. Trust the first whisper. When your peace withdraws, don't argue with it. Peace is the compass of the chosen. Ignore it, and chaos will teach what intuition tried to prevent. You will also notice divine protection manifesting in strange ways. Something tells you to take a different route, and later you find out there was trouble on the road you avoided. A delay frustrates you, only for you to realize it saved you. A connection fails to form, and months later you understand why. The divine moves like this. Quiet, precise, merciful. You'll realize that protection doesn't always look like favor. Sometimes it looks like frustration. Every interruption carries intention. And yet, in the middle of this heightened awareness, you'll be tempted to isolate completely. You'll feel like you can't trust anyone. That's a trap. The warning is not to close your heart, it's to open it wisely. Don't confuse caution with fear. Fear builds walls. Discernment builds gates. Keep your gates open to love, but guarded by wisdom. You are not called to live suspiciously. You are called to live spiritually. Stay soft enough to love, strong enough to say no, and wise enough to know which is which. The divine will test your response to triggers. Old wounds may reopen, not to hurt you, but to heal you. You'll meet people who remind you of your past pain, not to repeat the pattern, but to release it. The warning is, don't react as the old you. When you respond differently this time, the cycle breaks. Growth feels like silence where there used to be argument, peace where there used to be panic. Every test you pass opens a gate you didn't know existed. There will be dreams, vivid, symbolic, emotional. Pay attention to them. The divine often uses dreams when the conscious mind resists hearing. Write them down, even if they don't make sense immediately. Over time, the pattern becomes clear. Some dreams are warnings, others confirmations, and some are instructions wrapped in imagery. The more you honor them, the clearer they become. You may also experience the strange sensation of déjà vu, as though you've lived this moment before. You have. Spiritually, your soul often sees ahead before your body arrives. These echoes are confirmations that you're walking a pre-written path. Take comfort in that. You are not wandering. You are remembering. The warning is to stop doubting divine timing. Every moment you are living now was seen long before you arrived here. Trust the orchestration. When the divine gives warning, it also gives grace to endure what's revealed. Some truths will feel heavy. You may uncover deception, betrayal, or disappointment. But remember, exposure is not meant to shame. It's meant to free. The light reveals to heal. Don't seek revenge or validation. Let truth do its work quietly. Silence is the language of justice. When you stay calm in revelation, the divine handles the resolution. You'll begin to understand that every warning carries love hidden inside it. The divine warns not to punish, but to preserve. The message may sound stern, but the motive is mercy. When you obey early, pain becomes unnecessary. Most lessons repeat only because we ignore the first whisper. The chosen learn quickly because they listen deeply. That's your power, your ability to hear what others overlook. So, in this season, slow down. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you explain. The divine is writing instruction in everything, in timing, in silence, in interruption, even in emotion. Nothing is wasted. When something frustrates you, pause and ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every irritation hides information. Awareness turns inconvenience into wisdom. You will begin to crave solitude again, not from loneliness but from alignment. Solitude becomes sanctuary. When you sit in silence, you'll feel waves of peace flowing back into your spirit. That's the divine refilling what the world drained. Every chosen one learns this rhythm. Pour, then pause. Speak, then still. Give, then ground. You cannot serve from emptiness. The warning is not only external, it's internal too. Protect your rest as fiercely as your purpose. You'll notice your discernment maturing. At first it was instinct. Now it becomes intelligence. You'll sense things clearly and understand them calmly. You'll stop reacting and start responding. This is growth. You'll feel less need to explain yourself, because peace no longer requires permission. That's how you'll know the warning has done its work. It transforms fear into focus, and focus into faith. There will be a point when you realize you no longer chase signs. They come to you naturally. Numbers, coincidences, confirmations. They begin to flow around you because you've tuned to the right frequency. You have become receptive. The warning was never just to alert you, it was to align you. You've been trained to recognize divine movement without panic. Now, even chaos feels like choreography. At this level, humility deepens. You understand that awareness is not superiority. It's stewardship. The more you see, the gentler you become. You stop judging those still asleep because you remember when you were too. Compassion becomes your default. You protect your peace not to escape others, but to preserve clarity for when they need guidance. The warning has birthed wisdom, and wisdom always serves silently. Eventually, you will look back and realize how every signal made sense. Every delay, every silence, every strange feeling in your chest. They were all messages written in divine language. You'll see that the warning was not a threat. It was a gift. The divine wasn't trying to scare you. It was trying to prepare you. Preparation is protection. Now, as you stand at the edge of what comes next, you will feel it, a deep calm, almost supernatural, washing over you. That's how you know the warning has completed its purpose. Awareness has replaced anxiety. Faith has replaced fear. And what's coming next will require exactly that. Calm, focused faith. When the divine delivers a warning, it's never meant to paralyze you. It's meant to prepare you. Once you've received it and adjusted your spirit to it, life begins to feel different. You no longer move unconsciously through your days. You move intentionally, aware that every breath carries weight. You begin to see that the warning was not the end of something, but the beginning of a new way of seeing. Your eyes are open now. Your discernment has been sharpened. The same world looks different because you finally see through the surface of things. You start to realize that awareness itself is protection. Before, you used to pray for signs. Now, signs meet you in real time. You used to ask for confirmation. Now you walk in confidence. That's what spiritual maturity feels like. Clarity without noise. The divine doesn't need to repeat itself to those who have learned how to listen. You've entered that frequency now. You hear through peace, not panic. The warning has rearranged your rhythm. You move slower, but with more accuracy. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You engage gently, but your energy is fierce in its purity. You understand now that not everything deserves a reaction. Some things only require recognition. The difference between reaction and recognition is wisdom. Reaction drains. Recognition directs. You've learned to channel your energy into outcomes, not arguments. The world around you hasn't necessarily changed, but your awareness has elevated so much that it feels like it has. The same situations that used to disturb your peace now seem almost transparent. You can see where energy flows and where it gets stuck. You can sense manipulation before it forms, and you choose not to play the game. The chosen no longer wrestle with shadows, they illuminate them. Your power now lies in refusal, the refusal to be pulled down, provoked, or polluted. This is what it means to live with discernment. You see behind words, beneath actions, beyond appearances. You understand that not all chaos deserves confrontation. Some storms are best disarmed through silence. The divine has taught you to be still without being stagnant, to observe without absorbing. This is your new way of moving, calm, deliberate, untouchable. But this awareness doesn't make life easier. It makes life sacred. You start to treat every moment like a message, every conversation like a classroom, every emotion like a messenger. The divine speaks through everything now, through interruptions, through intuition, through the stillness between sounds. The warning was never just about danger. It was about awakening your hearing. Those who stay asleep wait for miracles. Those who are awake realize they are living inside one. You may notice a quiet separation from the noise of the world. Headlines don't disturb you. Gossip doesn't reach you. Comparison loses its grip. You have outgrown the collective anxiety that drives most people. Not because you are indifferent, but because you finally understand energy goes where attention flows. You no longer feed what drains. You feed what grows. That's how your peace becomes armor. Every morning feels like a continuation of a sacred conversation. You wake not to chase, but to align. You wake not to prove, but to serve. The warning taught you that urgency is the enemy of clarity. Now you walk at the pace of peace. That's divine timing, slow enough to hear, fast enough to trust. In this stage, tests come differently. They no longer look like disasters, they look like decisions. The divine no longer teaches through loss. It teaches through choice. The warning elevated you beyond pain-based lessons. Now you are trained through discernment-based ones. The question is no longer, why did this happen? But, what vibration am I choosing? That's spiritual adulthood. You have stepped into it. Your awareness starts to extend beyond yourself. You begin to sense what others are feeling, even when they stay silent. You notice the heaviness in someone's eyes, the fatigue behind their laughter. That's empathy expanding, the divine using your sensitivity as a channel of healing. You'll find yourself speaking words you didn't plan, offering comfort you didn't prepare. It's not you, it's the source moving through you. The warning taught you to listen, and now listening has become your ministry. You will begin to notice how often the divine confirms your intuition immediately. You'll think of someone, and they'll reach out. You'll sense an opportunity, and it will appear. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. You have aligned your internal frequency with divine order. When that happens, manifestation accelerates. That's the reward for obedience. Divine flow. But the warning still applies. Stay humble. Stay grounded. The same clarity that opens blessings also exposes temptation. Don't chase sensation. Chase stillness. You will be tested again, not through chaos, but through comfort. Comfort is the most subtle adversary of destiny. It whispers, "You've done enough. Relax. Drift." The divine says, stay watchful, not anxious, but aware. The chosen never retire from awareness. Even in peace, they stay prayerful. Even in abundance, they stay grateful. Even in silence, they stay listening. That's how you stay in alignment. At this stage, you'll notice time bending around obedience. When you act quickly on divine instruction, things happen with speed that logic can't explain. You'll make one decision, and 10 blessings unfold. The divine moves fast through those who move faithfully. That's why the warning came early, to train your response time. You no longer delay divine assignments with overthinking. You've learned to trust the first whisper. Obedience has become instinct. People will begin to notice the change in you. They'll sense calm in your presence, even when you say nothing. They'll feel peace just by being near you. You won't need to explain your transformation. Energy speaks louder than words. That's how divine awareness works. It radiates. Those still living in noise may not understand you anymore, and that's okay. You're no longer meant to fit. You're meant to function. The more you live in awareness, the clearer your boundaries become. You stop tolerating what dims your light. You stop apologizing for protecting your energy. You realize that saying no is not rejection. It's respect for yourself, for your mission, for the source within you. The divine warning trained you to discern difference between guilt and guidance. Guilt shames you for resting. Guidance reminds you that rest is holy. You now rest without shame and rise without fear. The divine will begin sending you moments of quiet confirmation, small miracles disguised as coincidences. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time, overhearing words that answer questions you never spoke aloud. You'll meet someone who carries the next piece of your puzzle. These alignments are proof that you're walking within divine choreography. The warning was the rehearsal. This is the performance. Sometimes you'll sense danger that never happens, and that's how you'll know protection worked. You'll feel an impulse to pray, to pause, or to cancel something. Later, you'll realize you avoided something unseen. That's how subtle the divine can be. The absence of disaster is as miraculous as the arrival of blessing. Gratitude should follow both. This new awareness will make you gentle. Power that comes from fear makes noise. Power that comes from peace moves silently. You've entered that quiet strength. You no longer need to convince, correct, or compete. You simply are. That's what divine alignment feels like, effortless authority. The warning taught you not to strive for control, but to surrender to flow. When you let go of control, alignment takes over. Every day now feels like dialogue with heaven. Even your thoughts begin to feel like prayers. You start realizing that awareness itself is worship. The way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you treat others with reverence. You have become the message. The divine no longer just speaks to you, it speaks through you. And yet, there's another layer to this awareness. The more light you carry, the more darkness notices. Not to harm, but to test your boundaries. The warning is to stay spiritually covered. Maintain your routines of grounding, meditation, prayer, reflection, solitude. Because the stronger your light becomes, the more sacred your stillness must be.